So if you haven't yet gotten a white stone and a little pencil, just raise your hand and our ushers will bring them by. And if you have a neighbor that hasn't got them, you could help them navigate that, because you'll need that for today's service. Today is a special service. It's a sacred service, and it's again one of our type of unity ritual services. That ritual, if done without consciousness, is just routine. Ritual done without consciousness is just routine and actually can lack power for transformation. It can be founded in the idea that some magic, if I just participate in something, then boom, it'll just happen. It's kind of based in hoping, and there's nothing really wrong with hoping, but there's a difference between hope and faith. Hope is a wish not committed to. But faith is a spiritual practice where you engage in your full consciousness in an activity. You put your full being into something, and you become part of making it demonstrate. You become part of making it significant. You activate the consciousness within it so that you can experience the good from it. So there's a little distinction there. And today is about a faith-filled ceremony. Charles Fillmore called faith the perceiving power of the mind, linked with the ability to shape substance. The perceiving power of the mind linked with the ability to shape substance. So that means that I could perceive something, that I could get something in my mind. I could ideate something, I could receive something in meditation, or know deeply that there is something that is my divine inheritance. And even though I have no human idea of how that could demonstrate, how I could possibly be worthy of it, manifest it, or how it could come around into my life, all of that needs to be of no concern to me, because in fact it is none of my business. That there is a law or a principle underlying all reality, that if I simply step into that law with my full intention and lift an intention up, not with a closed fist, like I am the one here manipulating this, making it so, making it happen, but if I lift it up in a way that is gentle, loving, like this or something better, something that I know that to the deepest ability I have within me, I am getting something here. I am getting that there is a transformation. I am getting that there is a better life for me. I am getting that there is something that could come into or move through or express as my life that I'm ready for. And to the best of my ability, I get this authentically. I get this in a raw, pure way. And so here I am, willing to accept this divine identity, willing to accept this gift or this blessing, willing to accept something anew. We have a lot of identities walking around in this earth suit. We have a lot of roles. We have that role of mother, brother, sister, friend, worker, whatever it is. We have a lot of identities and roles. And not all of those identities are pure and unlimited. Some of them come with big packages. Some of them come with baggage and history. Some of them don't feel as good as we think they're supposed to feel. Some of them are generated from inside of us. Some of them are put upon us. If anyone has ever studied any child psychology, you know about labeling theory. And probably just if you have been around human beings, you can see how this theory works. That when we perceive something and then we begin to label it, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. That we have to be very mindful, very, very mindful when we address labels to people. Have you ever seen anyone with a young child, and a child is just operating the way a child does, and they may say, "Oh, he's so angry. He's so angry." If that sticks and you put that label on a child because something happened and they had an experience and they had a reaction, but you keep affirming that, you create a portal, you create a vortex, you create a space, and you create, in fact, an idea in that child's mind that this is what they are. So then what happens? They begin to look for it. They begin, because that's what the mind does. It's not something vicious. It's not the work of the devil or the dark side. It's just the work of a mind that's like a computer. It will begin to try to validate or verify any information given. Is this true? Is this not true? How is this true? Where is this true? Is it not true that every human being at some point is angry? True, right? But some people may not have it pointed out to them in such a strong way. Some people may have a more unconditionally loving environment around them. Some people may not have the triggers, but we all, at a certain age, develop triggers, develop identities. So part of our spiritual practice and part of our growth work is to release and relieve ourselves of these spiritual identities so that we are not living under them. Has anyone heard of a flea circus? This is like a little terrible example of little animal abuse on the miniature level. A flea circus is that you take fleas, well, don't take them, please, and hopefully you're not near them, or like we'll help you and come to your house and help you get rid of them. No, so you take fleas and you put a container over them. So you just put any sort of glass container over them, right over the top. You put them in a place and you put a glass container over them. And they try, to hop up, they hop up, they hop up. And they bounce off the top for quite some time, right? But eventually, they will learn to jump just high enough that they won't hit the top. They will learn how to go as far as they can go, and that's all they'll do. And when you create a flea circus, or I don't know how people even came up with this, I guess people have done it. But you take the glass lid off, and then what happens is you'll have a little dish, and they'll just stay there. They'll just stay there, and they'll only hop as high. And fleas are one of those little creatures that can jump like 8 billion times their size, right? But they will just stay in that limited area. They will stay where they are trained to stay. And our brains are the same. With labeling, with identities, we will stay who we are and who we know ourselves to be until we have some sort of intervention, until we have some sort of idea that we are more, or that there have been perceived limitations that have either been applied to us or that we have applied to ourselves, that we have outgrown, that we no longer need. Imagine if no one ever told you to change your socks and you were still wearing the same socks you had when you were 2. We would just have little toe warmers and stick them in our shoes every day. It's important to check in to whether or not we have outgrown things or whether or not something's fitting for us. So today's ceremony is called the White Stone Ceremony. And it's significant in that we have these stones, which are referred to in sacred scripture. And we have these stones, and on this stone, by the end of this service, or you may choose to do some more meditation when you get home, you will receive a word, a name, a state of beingness or consciousness that, as you feel called during our meditation time, you'll write with your pencil onto this stone. And then you can feel free to take that stone with you. You can put it on an altar, put it in your car, put it wherever you'd like to, put it in your garden, do whatever is sacred to you. Toss it in a lake, whatever you feel called to do. But the significance of this stone and this word is that you'll be given something today. That if you courageously step into it, and if you open yourself, mind, body, and spirit, to the full experience of this ritual, this word or idea or image or state of beingness that you get, that you put on your stone today, will be a guidance system for this year. So that as you move into 2018, when you feel called, you can hold on to it or you can remember it. And remember, the presence of this will make a difference. The presence of this will make a difference. So how can I let this word go before me? How can I pay attention to it in such a way that it may be a gift to my experiences in this new year? Now, this is beyond intentions and goal setting and resolutions and lists. This practice is one that will support all of those things. Because the things about goals and resolutions and lists is that they are wonderful tools for the human condition. They are wonderful tools to help to have effectiveness in the human condition. But that cannot have full effect to the degree to which we are often speaking spiritually if we don't include the spiritual condition. And this ceremony is about really activating the spiritual condition that will make way for transformation, inside and outside. You know, if we don't do the deep work, right, nothing changes. Anyone that's been in recovery gets that. You don't go to recovery one time and think you've solved everything. You don't give one clearing or apology or, work the steps and the process. You don't do it once and go, got it, let's keep going. On to the next thing. I'm better, baby. It is a full process. It is a full process of grabbing onto something and bringing it back so that it is the strength with you in the moments you need for transformation. And it takes going beyond what you think is available to you. It takes going beyond the human and into the superhuman. Anyone that's started an exercise program or plan knows the same thing. You can go to the gym, you could have a goal, right? And you could go to the gym 5 times. That's great for those 5 times. It will do nothing to affect the course of your future, the course of your body. The same things with what we eat. We can set an intention. We can say, there's inflammation in my body, and so this is what I know to be true. I know to be true if I do X, Y, and Z, I relieve inflammation into my body. But if every time I open my refrigerator, I make different choices, I act in alignment with something different, I will not demonstrate the truth of my being. I will not demonstrate what I know to be possible. All of those things need more than the human condition and human intention. Because we are, what Charles Fillmore said, of carnal mind. We are of the human condition. That's our nature. It's not something we need to hate or fight against. But we bring spirituality into everything. This is going to make me probably sound like one of the biggest goofs, but I'm going to share this story. I used to love soda, and I really wanted to let it go from my general life. And I have these little things that I do when I'm ready to do that. And the first thing I do is I just don't buy it at home. It's just a treat that I can have when I'm out, right? And then, so I go through that step, and then I just make it a real fun thing. And then I look and what's next. And I did this with soda, and I did this with coffee. Not that I wouldn't drink them. I would drink them if I wanted to. But this is the part that may sound silly. I prayed about it. And I said, show me what could replace this feeling that I get. Show me that what could replace this sense that I need. Because I had little triggers, right? Like a soda with pizza is the thing. I'm going to do that for the rest of my life because I love it. I did it with vegetarianism too. I thought to myself when I was younger, I was like, I will never stop eating hot dogs. I will never stop eating McDonald's cheeseburgers ever. And then I did that. I didn't even realize that until this moment. And I did that prayer back then when I was 19 and said, if there was something that would replace this, and it's a silly example, but I was at my aunt's one time because I was the pickiest eater in the world. I called lettuce crunchy water. And literally I could do, corn. I grew up in Indiana. It was corn and ground beef. I'd even put ketchup in my ground beef when I stirred it up, and I'd make it for myself, and that was like dinner, just like a load of ground beef and ketchup. But when I was 19, I was at University of Boulder, and I saw all of these videos, all of these expressions of what we do to our livestock. And I have a bleeding heart for animals and the environment. And so I went through that process of what happens with the environment, what happens for animals. And for me, I wanted that choice, but all I ate was meat. Roll bologna, dip it in ketchup. Roll the bologna, dip it in ketchup. But I did this light. At that time, I don't think I would have called it like a prayer for something, but it was like, okay, if there's a way, then you got to show me what's going to really soothe me, what's going to be good. And I was at my aunt's one time, and I would usually never try things, but because of this new mission of holding an open space for transformation and intention, I was willing to try different things. And so things that I never would have touched, I tried. And so she had a thing of refried beans that I actually hardly ever eat anymore, but refried beans. And I was like, I'm going to try it. And I tried it and I was like, this is pretty good. I can do it. I think I can do it. And I did. I still always had my McDonald's cheeseburger at least once a year. But I did the same thing with soda. And finally I got, okay, seltzer, like I could drink seltzer. And then it got to the point of drinking seltzer and that feeling fine, that it was like if I had a whole soda, I can't even have a whole soda anymore. Like I will be like I'm 15, 14. It's not a good thing. And I did the same thing with coffee, and I started drinking bio coffee. Now, this isn't about life choices and what we put in our bodies or not. That's all up to us. All of that is part of our spiritual practice, and we're all guided to what fits for us. But if there is anything we think is too minute or too silly to invite in our spiritual practice, then we are limiting ourselves. Everything is prayer because our thoughts are prayer. So are we willing to take the steps with even the things we see as little or small and allow our human selves to be our human selves and say, well, this puppy, she's not going to change unless she figures out something good she's going to get from that change. Show me, universe. Show me, sweet spirit of life that is everywhere present. Show me, great good that knows me so well, how I can make even this transformation fun. How I can make even this transformation taste sweet. Show me. So are we willing to fully step in to the transformation? This Sunday is about getting a name, getting an idea, getting an image. And what really makes sense to me this year is to think about the presence of something that would make a difference. The presence of a type of consciousness I want to show up. Maybe it's gentleness. Maybe gentleness is my word. And throughout this year, I just want to be extra mindful of gentleness when I show up. Whatever it is for you. But thinking, what would it be if I were to manifest it, demonstrate it, feel the vibrational field of it, feel the experience of it? What would it be that if I were to do this, I would experience a new way of being? What could that be? I want you just to think for a moment. I'm going to say a word, and I want you to just feel it. Beach. Sunshine. Charles Fillmore. Hitler. Jesus. Think of a friend who's in their freedom form, a beloved that is no longer on this planet Earth. Think of one and just feel that. Breathe into that. Words have meaning. In Scripture, it says in the beginning there was the Word. Speaking a word, getting a word, feeling a word has a meaning. Especially in Missouri on this Sunday, if you think of warm weather and a beach, you can feel something, can't you? Can you feel a little excitement there? I'm not even a beach girl, and I'm like, You can feel something. That's the vibrational field of something. Remembering something brings it up. Now, our minds, when we know about mental science, our minds don't know the difference between something being real in front of us and something being imaginary. That's why visioning works. That's why the power of it works. When you see something bad happen to someone else or a film, the body can actually experience the chemical emotions that it would go through if that were really happening. In spiritual practice, we use that to our benefit. So we can generate an idea, generate an image and a picture. Everyone knows someone who has walked on this planet that represents something magnificent that you value, that you really, really value. That all you have to do is think of them. And it's like that level of whatever it is that they rocked on this planet comes right up, and you can just, and if you felt like you had them there with you, holding your hand, it would be like having a superhero to walk through anything with you, right? Maybe it's a mother or a father that you've lost, a friend, a family member, but all you have to do is call them to mind. This is the same spiritual practice that spiritualities and spiritual practices have used forever in thinking of asking for support from saints and sages that have passed on. They demonstrated a consciousness. I still, from my Catholic upbringing, love St. Anthony. If you know anything about St. Anthony, you probably know why I love him. But all I have to do is literally think St. Anthony and breathe into that, and there's resolution when I lift it up. Charles Fillmore would have described that as a field of consciousness that we step into. So that's part of this reflective service. That's what we're really doing. This is a spiritual service about ritual on how we can utilize mindfulness as a practice in the new year. How can you create a vibrational field to support who you truly are as a spiritual being? Ernest Holmes says, "We do not change all of the patterns of our thought in a moment. Rather, it takes place little by little until gradually the old thought patterns become transformed into new ones by some inner alchemy of the mind, the operation of which we do not see, but the manifestation of which we do experience." One of our beloved Unity ministers, Sig Paulson, who led Unity Village Chapel in the good old days, said this after working with a woman that used these spiritual principles, these practices of knowing there is one power and one presence, it is love, it is good, knowing the law of mind action, knowing that what we focus on, we get more of. The idea of using meditation, affirmation, and prayer to activate truth within our being, and then to act and to step into alignment with our good, knowing that this power and this life force is in us and as us in every moment, guiding and directing. So he was working with this woman, and he says this story in acknowledgement of her activation of the principles. It's called The Great Step. He says, "A woman who had been working with a number of these ideas told me she had a pleasant and unexpected experience when she met a friend she had not seen for several years. The friend said, 'My, you've changed. You used to be a regular worrywart. You were always half sick, afraid of what people thought of you, and ready to join our circle of gossip. Now you seem so relaxed and radiant. What happened?' The woman who shared this experience with me laughed and said, 'You know, I must have changed tremendously. I couldn't even remember myself as the person my friend described.' It's a wonderful adventure to receive the true light and to begin to exercise the power to be children of God, the self-expression of the creative spirit that produced us. The decision to take this great step is up to us. If we wait for some religious authority, a priest, minister, or denominational representative to stick a thermometer into us and decide what we are spiritually mature enough before we make the plunge, we will never get started. We are moving into a new era of human experience and unfoldment. The yardsticks of the past are out. Your experience, your insight, your progress are just as valid, just as important as anyone else's. No other person can establish a tight little format for you to follow. All he can do is to share experiences, insights, and revelations that he has gained from traveling on his own path of unfoldment. Conventional obstacles from both your outer world and your inner world of past beliefs and experiences may be hurled at you. But if you are wise, you will neither fight nor accept them. Rather, you will let yourself grow beyond them, and they will dissolve without too much effort on your part." So we're ready now to take a moment into meditation to allow that process to happen. So I invite you to just get comfortable where you are. I invite you to breathe into this moment, to have that white stone, put it in your hand or put it in your lap, and just gently allow your eyes to close. So we breathe in. into this space. Simply allowing our hearts and our minds to be open, knowing that there is no wrong way to meditate. There is no wrong way to be in this moment. In fact, we are perfectly designed for this moment, and we are the way. The way is through the I am nature. The way is through the core of our being, and that is known so deeply in our soul imprint that it cannot be forgotten when we simply breathe into this space. There is a wholeness within. There is a divine, perfect pattern. It is always longing for expression. It makes no note of wrong. It makes no note of identities or ideas that have kept it from expressing. It's simply there like light shining, illuminating a room. Nothing can diminish it. Nothing can offend it. Nothing can change it. It simply is, and it is the core of this beingness that is you. So we walk into our story. We walk into our being, simply allowing all of it to be here so that we can stand within it authentically, with a new listening, with an intention and a full-bodied invitation to grow, acknowledging that this is the end of a cycle, the end of a self. And there is a deeper identity asking to be revealed. From Revelation, let anyone who has ears to listen to what the Spirit is saying. To everyone who conquers, I will give some of the hidden manna, the spiritual substance, the knowing. And I will give a white stone, and on the white stone is written a new name. This is a consciousness. This is a word of support and mindfulness that'll carry us through future moments, supporting our intention to be aligned with the highest possibility and with the truth of our nature. We are called to enter a different realm of being, a different dimension, the spiritual dimension. We're willing, completely willing to let go of any identities that have fallen short, any ideas or words that we have cast upon others or cast upon ourselves or received knowingly or without our knowing. We release it. We set aside any ideas that we have fallen short of our own expectations or those others may have had for us. We begin to identify with only that which connects us more closely to self, to other, to that which is divine, to the world, to the planet, to God. We are no longer comfortable with mediocrity or maintaining a stale level of being. We acknowledge that all we need is to be willing. So here we are, open, receptive, and willing, knowing flesh can only give birth to flesh, and spirit can give birth to spirit, as John taught. So here we are in the midst of spirit giving birth to spirit. We receive at one-ment with our spiritual identity. We draw from the formless. We identify with that which is light and unify our intentions with that which is still unformed. We are here now receiving, reconnecting with our pure self, knowing our essence. So breathe into this moment. We don't need to understand the word we get. It may be something that we'll be unfolding, noticing around us, researching through the year. It may be a state of beingness, a state of consciousness. It may be a color, a word, a name, maybe an animal. Whatever it is, when we look into the consciousness, when we learn about that identity, it will be something that will support us. Think of a bird in the rain or the snow and the cold, and think of how it is sustained even through wild weather, even though it looks so delicate and isolated. There it can be in the midst of an ice storm on a branch, safe and secure. Or a fish that can get frozen in a lake. And once the ice thaws, it can swim away. We simply allow ourselves to receive that which is ours, to discover, to uncover, and to hold with us through the year. Whenever we may feel that this spiritual support is needed, whenever we may feel the gratitude of our alignment. So we breathe into this space. And as you receive your word, you write it on the stone in the silence. We just allow the space to honor and acknowledge this practice and this word. And if you haven't received it yet, just set an intention that it'll come to you before the evening tonight. Maybe take this stone to your bedside in the quiet space and just allow it to unfold. It may be something that you see repeatedly. Maybe an idea you walk by. We simply allow.
Wash over us, we let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let
So, I had a friend say to me recently, he said, when you choose to live courageously, you encounter perils. When you choose to live courageously, you encounter perils. Part of unity is to have a practical message that supports us. So here are the tools for today. The tools are this: hold to your vision. When you get something, when you get this idea, this word, when you get an idea and consciousness for yourself, hold to that vision. Be unmoving in it spiritually. The next is learn the power of your no. Learn the power of your no. And the third is focus on what is there. Focus on the good that's there. So the first one of hold to your vision, there is an African American spiritual community in the Kansas City area. There's a new minister that they got in, a younger minister. And he came into this community and he had a vision and he said, I'm getting this and we're to do things differently. And part of doing things differently was telling people, I don't want anyone to dress up anymore. Don't dress up for church. Don't do the whole high church thing. Just come as you are. Come as you are. And he got a lot of feedback from that. It was a large-sized community, and it started dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. I think it got down to something like 80. And then you know what happened? Then from that consciousness of those who caught the vision, it started bouncing back to over the size that it was before, to thousands. Hold to your vision. Then learn the power of your no. You know, you've heard about the terrible twos and how kids learn no, 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 or mine, mine, mine. Learn what is yours and make it yours. Pull it in and learn the power of your no. I was sitting here this morning listening to the music and listening to Todd sing the opening song, and I was just appreciating him being here and being part of our music team, and just going, man, he just really rocks it all the time, and thinking about all the opening songs he's done for us and how I just so value that. And then I was also thinking about the call that I got when I received this position at Unity Village Chapel. And I asked Todd permission to share this story. But one of the calls I got was from Todd, and he said, I just got to let you know, I'm stepping down. So, I'm stepping down. This was over 6 years ago. And he said, it's not fun for me anymore. I'm ready to be complete, so I just wanted to let you know. And I just said to him, I said, would you do something for me? Would you hold on for 6 months? I may have started with 3. I kept pushing it. I said, would you hold on for 6 months and just give me 6 months so that there's not a new minister. Todd at the time was the music director. And I said, so that there's not a new spiritual leader and a new whole energy around the music. And would you just give me that time? And he said, yes, I'll give you that. And so we kept working together and talking, and I kept checking in with him. And still there were parts that he's just like, realized I'm not having fun anymore. This isn't, it's not good for me. And so we kept talking and working together, and I kept exploring and going, well, what about it? Is it the whole thing, or what about it? Well, writing the charts and the stress of this and the stress of that and this and that. And so we worked together and through a process, and I said, well, can you give me a chance to just take that stuff away and then see maybe if you might still want to play drums, if you might still want to stay a little bit and do. And he said again, all right, yeah, I can give you a little bit of time. And we went through a few emanations of different music directors, different people, things not fitting. And then he said, there's this guy that I play tennis with. He's one of Kansas City's best jazz musicians. He plays the piano. And I think you'd be good for you to talk to him. And this guy, you can write charts and all that stuff. And so we worked together and we kept letting it evolve to be right where we are, right? Right where we are, which is a complete place of gratitude, a place of flow, a place that feels good, where we each get to bring the parts that we love to bring and our gifts. But all of that came through the power of no and the power of mine. Of saying what is mine to do, getting clear on what is mine to do, and recognizing if something's not mine to do, then something better will come in that it is theirs to do. And if I don't know the power of my no, I will roll myself into places where I am no longer identifying with the joy of my being. And the last is to focus on what is there. In unity, our spiritual practice and our purpose is to look at the good that is there and to love it and to cradle it and to nurture it and to allow it to grow, to let that seed be planted and to allow its space to grow. Joel Goldsmith said in The Art of Spiritual Healing, all you can do is to recognize that you embody all that God is and has. You must not try to get, you must not try to have, you must learn how to let infinity flow from you. Namaste.